This wood starburst is made using all cuts at 5-degree angles. Can you believe it did that on the table saw? You know, for most of my 50 years of woodworking, I wouldn't have thought that was possible. But in this video, I'm going to show you the jig that makes this possible and how to build it. So I've cut up my material. That's the base plate for my sled, a rail, which I'm going to attach here in a moment. I guess we call this the stage where the piece rests, and I've got a fence to go on it so that the material can back up against that. And then 2 triangles, which are going to support this at exactly 45 degrees. Now, as you saw when I was cutting it, the way I got these exactly 45 degrees is by using a speed square. It's really easy. You can just put it up against the fence there and you know you're getting it 45. That's more accurate than the gauge on my radial arm saw or the gauge on miter saw would be. So we need to put a couple things together. Now, I want to make sure that my base plate here is exactly parallel to the blade. That's critical. So what I'm actually going to do is go ahead and install my rail on here. That's going to go in the miter slot, and this distance is supposed to be 7 inches. I've got a little too much, and then I'm going to cut it off. So I'm going to let the blade cut it off, make sure I've got it exactly right, okay? And then I'll assemble it from there. So a little quick and dirty assembly here. We're going to use CA glue, mostly because it will do a nice quick job of this. And I've drawn a line on here exactly 2 inches from this edge, and but even so, I'm not going to count on that line being straight enough or these 2 edges being parallel. I'm going to count on the blade to get me right. And we'll put a couple screws in here. The CA glue is mostly to hold it together until the screws are in. Want to make sure those screws go down below flush so that they're not going to hang up on anything. Using 3/4 of an inch screws so that I'm below flush. Now the stage that the material is going to go on is already beveled, and we'll put the fence on it, and the fence is not beveled, and if it needs to bevel, well, that'll just happen the first time we use it. I know a lot of people in a lot of videos are using the accelerator with this now. It works, it's good stuff. I just don't consider it necessary. Now, I know that this piece is square, and this is essential that these 2 edges are square, and then I'm putting this fence here right up against this edge. That's important because if it's off a little bit, if this was, say, 85 degrees instead of 90 degrees, that would tip it this way, which means that every piece I cut would be off a little bit. So that's important. Okay, now before I finish assembling it, I'm going to go ahead and cut this on the table saw. Okay, so now we're ready to finish assembly. What I should have done is gone ahead and put these triangles on my stage here before putting the fence on. Okay, I didn't. So here's how I'm going to solve that problem. I'll go ahead and put another piece of wood here on this side that essentially matches my fence there on the other side, and just clamp it into place. Okay, so now with that clamp in place, I can go ahead and install my triangle piece right up next to it, okay? I want to make sure that I keep my surface here lined up, and the idea was to have these right on the edge, like this one here is going to go on the edge, and that's mostly for the purpose of making sure that it's square, okay? Because I know the piece of wood is square. All right, I goofed, but we can make it work. Again, I'm using CA glue for the quick bond, and then we'll put the screws in for the more permanent attachment. And to make sure that I've got this slope, this 45-degree slope even, I'm just going to go ahead and put a straight edge up here and make sure that it's good. So there's the first one. And now we'll do the second one. Again, I want to line it up with the outside edge and make sure I've got my slope here matching up. This piece of wood actually isn't perfect. The edges are radius just slightly. I obviously used it for something. I don't know what, but that won't hurt anything, okay? So now that I've got that on, I can remove my clamps. And we'll go ahead and drill some holes and put some screws in here. Now I'm using longer screws here than I was for these pieces because I'm going into a deeper piece of wood. Okay, now that that's ready, our last assembly step is to mount this to this. Now, turn it the right way, Rich. This is my beveled edge. And the fence here goes back towards me, okay? I've got a little bit of extra of my insert to go into the track there, sticking out. And mainly that's just a guide to make it easier to put in. If it's not visible, then I got to jiggle it back and forth, finding a way to put it where it goes. That just makes things a little bit easier. Again, I want to make sure that this surface and the bevel here are exactly lined up, because that's what's going to keep the whole thing square for me, okay? So, we'll put some super glue on here, our good old CA. And the only squaring up I'm doing here is aligning this surface, because if I do that, I'll know I have everything square. So what I'm ending up with here is something that's exactly at a 45-degree angle. Now, we already know that our saw's blade will tip to 45 degrees. So 45 degrees plus another 45 degrees gives us 90 degrees. So I should be able to get anything between we've got 90 to 45 already that we can cut with the blade. So now I can get from that 45 down to close to 0 with this, because we're holding the board at 45 degrees. And I'll show you how that works here in just a minute. Again, I need to put my screws in because my glue is not permanent. CA is a pretty good bond, but it is strong in tension and not strong in shear. What that means is if I try and pull these pieces apart, forget it. I can't put enough force on there to do that. But if I try and hit them, say hit this with a hammer, I can pop them loose because it's not strong that way. That's the shear, okay? This is much better taking a ruler by measuring it than my screws can end up in the center of the board. So there it is. Now let's go over to the saw and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so now that we've got our jig made, let me show you how we're going to use this. The first thing is that I went ahead and waxed the bottom of this with just some beeswax. You can use whatever paste wax you have. That'll just make it slide smoother on the table saw, less friction, it'll be easier to cut. So now the big question is, how do we set up our table saw blade? Now we know we've got 45 degrees here because we were very precise about how we made this. So we can add that 45 degrees to whatever the blade angle is. Instead of 90 degrees, we're going to adjust the blade to some other angle, okay? Obviously, we're not going to set it to 45 degrees because we wouldn't need this if we were doing a 45-degree cut. Now, if we take our equilateral triangle here, any triangle from elementary school math, we should all know this, that any triangle totals 180 total degrees for the three angles. Since this is an equilateral triangle, that means all three angles are the same. So each of these angles is 60 degrees. Or to put that another way, each half of the angle, because these are mitered cuts, is 30 degrees. So I got a 30-degree angle here and a 30-degree angle here. Now, that doesn't mean we set our blade to 30 degrees, because remember, we've got 45 degrees here. So the difference between 30 degrees and 45 degrees is 15 degrees. That's the number we really want to deal with, okay? If I just took a board and set it in here and my blade was vertical, I would get a 45-degree cut here. Well, I can do that with a table saw without this jig, so that really doesn't help us any. But I want 30 degrees, so instead of 45 degrees, I'm actually going for a flatter cut, a pointier angle, or a more acute angle to use geometry terms. How am I going to get that? I'm obviously going to get it by angling my blade. There's a 15-degree difference, so I need a 15-degree angle on my blade. How did I get that? Well, you can use the gauge on the front, you know, the protractor that's on the front of your saw. I don't like to do that because I don't think it's accurate enough. So I used a digital protractor, and I set it, instead of for 90 degrees, I added that 15 degrees to it, and that gave me 105 degrees. So I set this for 105 degrees, exactly, and I use that to set my blade, and as we can see, the blade is at 105 degrees. Or in other words, it's 15 degrees off of the vertical, okay? So I take my 45 degrees, now I've subtracted 15 degrees from that is what I've actually done, and I end up with my 30 degrees. I know this can be confusing. I highly recommend, until you get used to doing this, draw it out. Draw it out and write the angles there and do your figuring on a piece of paper. And then before you cut your final pieces, try it on a piece of scrap and make sure it's going to work right, okay? So anyway, I've got this now set for 15 degrees. I've got high enough it'll make the cut. So let's go ahead and make the cut. Now I want to take my piece that I'm cutting, and I've already cut these to length, and they're exactly the same length. And I manage that by using a stop block on my radial arm saw, okay? And we want to put it so it's just touching the table and it's up tight against the fence here on our jig. Now with that done, I can go ahead and clamp it. We always want to clamp this because we don't want it to move. And in a way, I'm going to double clamp it because I'm going to put the clamp on here and I'm going to hold it with my hand as well. Okay? So the bottom corner here is exactly where the angle of this jig is meeting the table. And so that's where my cut is going to start from, and it's going to be 15 degrees off our vertical, which should leave us with a 30-degree angle. Let's go ahead and make that cut and check it out. Okay, well, it looks pretty much like it's an acute angle. It's much sharper than 45 degrees. Let's check it out with the digital protractor. And we put that on there and we come out to 30 degrees. Actually, it says 30.3 degrees. We're just a shade off, okay? Let me go ahead and cut another one, then we'll put the two of them together to see what we end up with. Okay, since we haven't changed the blade at all, we haven't changed the jig at all, it should be the same. And when we put the two of these together, it looks like we've got the same sort of angle here that we have here. Let's put them up against each other. And it looks like it is exactly the same angle. That's what we're after. So we can make repetitive cuts of the same angle, and we can do that for whatever angle we want. You want to make hexagons, you want to make octagons, you want to make stars. Anytime you're trying to do some sort of a regular shape like that, and you can't just do it by setting the blade angle and having the material flat on the table, this jig will allow you to do it.